I'm officially back from vacation. I will talk about it in the next video because, well, even with me leaving the country literally the day after this film's release didn't protect me from the flash flood of people sending me clips of the film along with the massive amounts of "I watched Snow White so you don't have to," which I have a hugely weird problem with those videos, as yes, thank you for doing the backbreaking favor of watching the thing and telling everyone about it, but if we really want Disney to understand we are not pleased with their never-ending march to the grave, maybe spending money, and while yes, not a lot of money, it's still money that Disney thinks you voluntarily spent because you either liked it or were suckered into going because you have kids and don't care if children films are pandering dumbed down crap. But yeah, paying to see this film to tell others not to see it isn't the best way to show Disney what's what. I say as I'm about to talk about the movie. But joke's on them. The pirate's life is the life for me, and I am proud of it. Also, yes, this format is a little different from my usual rants and ravings, where I mostly redesign the characters and explain the costumes and my ideas on things, along with giving the bare minimum of a recap. But oh, have I just been itching for a moment like this. For the longest time, I've waited for Disney to fall down the metaphorical stairs and actually hit the bottom of them, and Snow White is that bottom. Maybe we have like so many more live actions coming, but this film, yeah, it's on the floor. Anything after is just Disney digging a grave for the body that broke its neck. Anyway, the movie. So I and everyone on the wide web have spoken about the film's cursed press tour and overall start. I mean, should have been a wake-up call when the set caught on fire and Peter Dinklage said what he said, causing Disney to backflip so hard to correcting themselves they ended up being more backhanded with it, which after seeing the movie, I understand what they meant by magic men and the actual men plus one woman in that one photo were about, and like, if that was always going to be the case of the new version of the story, then just say that at the beginning instead of freaking out and making CGI monsters. Also, the extra spice of the curse is Rachel herself. Her interviews about the original film were just in very poor taste, to the point it's like, why are you even here? Like, the fans of these classics have so much love for the franchise, and to disrespect them that way is such a big no. Also, it's Disney's first big picture. Like, it's fine if you don't care for the film today or agree with most of it, but when you're promoting the film that has ties to it and are playing the main character, it's probably best not to say your honest opinions. Or at the very least, sugarcoat them. I swear, the PR training in Hollywood is lacking big time. For the record, I won't say Rachel was a bad pick in the beginning. I think she's very pretty, but I'm kind of a sucker for the Disney smile, and no offense to Rachel, but her smile is just not giving. It's I'll have to show you guys what I mean by Disney smile, because you'll know it when you see it. Anyway, and while she can sing, there's no denying that, I just don't think her voice fits. Cause like, just cause you can sing well, doesn't mean you're right for the character. I mean, almost anyone can sing, right? But obviously, if you're looking for a specific voice or sound, then not just anyone will do. It's like having Brian Griffin sing Under the Sea. Like, would it be great? I mean, yeah. But would it be weird for Sebastian to sing like that in the movie? Yeah. But again, he can sing, remember? So it's okay, right? No, not really. But yeah, that's how I feel about Rachel's overall voice. I can't fault her 100% because she's not writing the music, but Disney creating these songs with such hard power ballads just feels wrong for the character. And while, yes, they changed her personality to be more like every other Disney princess we have nowadays, it's still crazy whiplash to hear her sing when thinking about the original Snow White. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, you just have to ignore the original. And it's like, no, I can ignore the original if it's another studio creating the classic story, but it's not. It's the same studio that made the original first film, so I have to compare the two. They're from the same studio. I feel crazy when I'm trying to explain like why I keep bringing up the original versus this new one. I have to compare the two, considering the fact that they also keep constantly taking things from the original film and putting it in the live action film instead of creating a new, more fresher view on the story. They refused to do it for some reason. Anyway, though, the dark cloud around this movie was just the start, as we now had to wait for it to break free, and wow, what the fuck? The story is something. The songs... yeah, I don't know what the people in Hollywood be smoking, but they really need to stop. It's beginning to be a lot. Anyway, let me recap this mess. Okay, so the movie starts with the opening of a storybook, and we get a new version of how Snow White got her name to, explain why she no longer looks like how she's described in the original. So instead of her name meaning skin as white as snow, she instead is named for the blizzard she was born during, which... okay, not as poetic, but fine. And then we get to the first song, and wow, does it feel like a ripoff of the Harvest song from Frozen 2. Now, granted that song wasn't in the movie, but you can kind of tell they reused bits of it for this song, which is just a shame, because that song's a million times better. But yeah, the whole town is nice to Snow, and pretty much explaining how her character is going to be throughout the movie due to her parents being kind and just rulers, which to me just feels weird. Like, yeah, nature versus nurture and all that jazz, but I always liked how Snow was unique in her ability to be so nice and happy given the circumstances, because in the OG we never know what her life was like before her stepmother, and we never see other adults interact with her other than before she runs off. So it's that mystery of her that makes her personality so interesting versus a nice kingdom with nice values, and our princess just fully embodies that. Anyway, we are 4 minutes in and the movie's song is just not stopping. It's incredibly slow paced and very boring. Also, the inclusion of the wishing well just felt cheap. Like, you can tell they're really pushing it. Like, see, you see it? The wishing well? See it? We want you to see it and know that it's important later. Because after the song, we get the dead mother track, and they use the well to show she was Thanos snapped, which then leads us to the evil queen's arrival, which they just have a narrator talk over, and like, way to make her arrival hella boring and meh. Also, why show she can do magic up front? The fun of the evil queen was that we didn't know she could. Like, in the original, her first thought is to kill Snow and then use magic after. Like, that truly shocked me as a child. Anyway, we zip through the whole time jump to Snow White, to her catching some guy stealing food, to which she's just like, don't do that. And he explains people are starving, and she backhands him with, oh, so that's an excuse to steal? And it's like, yes, this isn't the 21st century, it's medieval times. You're a prisoner in your own home, and the queen's evil. Like, she should be helping him, not saying, I'll ask the queen or Snow White would let you. Like, girl, you're Snow White, so just let him. And she kind of does. As he runs off, she goes to talk to the queen, and she acts like the queen's not evil or aware of what's going on, and it's like, Snow, be for real. I low-key hate how Disney portrays nice people. Like, they make them seem incapable of noticing bad behavior, and when they do notice it, it's for really small stuff, and they make a big deal about it, or they make them so nice they cause all kinds of unnecessary problems. Like, being nice does not make someone dumb. Anyway, the queen basically tells Snow to back off and that the people need a diamond ruler and not a dreamer / wisher, which, is it weird? I kind of agree with the queen. Like, Snow talking about pies while a nice thing seems weird given the context of everything going on, cause like, morale isn't really the problem, it's the queen. Like, she's the main problem, she's the cause of everything. But I mean, I do get both sides of the argument, though I think it's another Wish situation where they're trying so hard to make the queen evil, she kind of makes sense. Also, the guy from earlier is caught and we learn he's a Robin Hood type, and Snow White ends up getting him in more trouble by speaking, and the queen tells Snow she lives in a world of wishes, and I mean, she's not wrong. Like, she has zero game plans here. And then we get to the second song, Waiting on a Wish, which again sounds like it belongs in another movie, Wish, which, you know what? Both movies suck, so makes sense this song is in here. Anyway, the song's fine. I mean, I'm no songwriter, but it feels counterintuitive. Like, she sings about wanting to be what she thought she'd be, but then sings about waiting for a wish, which, like, what the fuck do you mean by that? But Anyway, we then conveniently pan to the guy from earlier being tied up so Snow can set him free, and we get the tried and true Hallmark hand touch moment, and her asking what it's like outside, and him being the suave guy that he is, tells her, "Why don't you find out?" Which, like, yeah, sure, it's not like I'm a glorified prisoner and my stepmom's the evil queen, you know, like, oh, it's just so easy for me to leave. He then runs off and the queen sees, and then she runs to the magic mirror to ask who's the fairest, which weird time to do that, but okay. The mirror says Snow White, obviously, which, like, I've always had an issue with the mirror part of the story, because, like, wasn't the mirror also factoring in Snow White's niceness as well as her beauty, which kinda invalidates the mirror's overall message to the evil queen about it being about looks, because, like, she's evil and Snow has always been kind, so the mirror from day one should have been like, oh, Snow's definitely the fairest. Like, it's so weird that the mirror tells the evil queen that she's beautiful, but then backtracks and goes, well, technically Snow White is kind on the inside, so that makes her prettier. And it's like, what do you mean by that? I think if the mirror was more about inner beauty than physical, then that could work, maybe. I mean, the mirror could still tell the queen she's physically beautiful, but her inner beauty dies with each wicked action she makes. So when Snow, who has always been kind, does something so extremely good, the mirror can't help but notice she has grown beautiful inside and out. Hands down, honestly, if they just changed how the mirror worked, I think all the confusion could be fixed. Anyway, we then cut away to the queen sitting at her mirror telling the huntsman to kill Snow, and boy, is it the most boring scene. Like, the OG isn't like crazy spectacular, but you could really feel the tension and how what she's asked of him is a lot. But here, nothing. The huntsman takes Snow to pick apples, which I can't remember if in the OG Snow was just out and about and the huntsman surprise attacked her. But if that was the case, then that's so much better than him taking Snow to pick apples, because literally an hour ago, the queen told Snow picking apples was stupid. So if I was Snow, I would be like, what the fuck's going on here? Snow tries to give the huntsman an apple, and again we're told she's kind, and then he immediately tries to attack her, and she kind of just stands there asking why while he tries to muster up the courage, and it's just, wow, way to make each scene feel more dull than the last. He then tells her to run, and the scary forest scene just doesn't hit. Even the scary trees seem silly, but thankfully it's lightning fast and we get to the animal scene, and I know I'm sounding like a hater, but again, I gotta say the OG is better, because Snow just crying and the animals comforting and calming her down is so much better than her just being like, oh dear, want some food? And then, you know, all the animals just love her. Like, for me, the reason why the OG is so spectacular in that moment is because Snow does nothing. She's just a child crying in the woods, and the animals feel bad for her and try to comfort her. And when she realizes what they've done for her, she's so kind to them. Like, it's the little details that make the character. And in this film, having her not speak or react or even scream is just lazy. But the animals then guide her to the cottage, and she says nothing the whole time and just falls asleep in the bed. Like, what? We then finally get to the dwarves and my personal favorite song, but you know, not in this movie, but I mean, the song's not bad, and I do like that they added new elements to the dwarves by having their hands glow to find gems. However, that never comes back, and the dance number isn't as much fun. Also, the CGI is just, yeah. Anyway, the dwarves go home and find Snow White in their beds, and as she wakes up, she screams and does like this weird side to side look. Like she's watching everyone run, but like only Dopey was in the room. But she tells him she only wanted to meet him, which, weird dialogue. But then the others break into the room and ask a bunch of questions. They also mention the bandits, to which Snow goes to leave due to this. She explains the queen tried to kill her, and they ask her to stay the night, to which she agrees. Then we go back to the queen asking the mirror the same old question, and it tells her Snow White is not dead, and we get the evil queen song, and okay, no offense to Gal Gadot, but maybe someone else should have sang. Also, the song is so meh. Like, what's with Disney lately and boring villain songs? Also, I have to ask, but is it just me or does the props in this film feel crazy cheap? Anyway, the queen tells her men to find Snow, and we move on to the infamous whistle while you work, but before that, we get some character moment between Snow and Dopey, which I'm both okay with, but also confused by. Like, I get why Dopey of all characters, but I kind of liked it better when she focused on all of them, like giving them each a bit of her kindness, but it's clear this was all just a setup to get to whistle while you work. Also, I know everyone is divisive on the whole Snow White cleaning and cooking of the original film, as it's a double-edged sword since due to it being a film way back when that stuff was seen as woman's work, but in the context of the film, she only offers to do that stuff so the dwarves will let her stay, you know, like earn her keep, so to speak, which I kind of always liked because she's only doing what she knows how to do. But in this film, Snow White kind of makes the dwarves clean their own house, and it's seen as a nice thing for her to do, which, huh? But also, I am fine with her having them clean since they changed the dialogue of her staying, though it's still weird that they think that it's a nice thing for her to do to make them clean their own home. Like, but yeah, we get this version where everyone just assumes she's crazy kind and perfect. We don't ever really get to see it. She just does the most basic, nice things. It's weird. Anyway, Whistle While You Work is fine. It's pretty close to the original, but clearly more show-tuney. But the song ends and Snow remembers the huntsman said the queen lied about her father, and she assumes he's alive and asks where the bandits are and that she has to find them, and she goes off to do that. And like, is anyone else getting a strange deja vu? Like, it really feels like Disney might be copying the other Snow White film. Is it just me? Probably. Anyway, the guy from before finds Snow, and we learn his name is Jonathan. Snow tells him the queen wants her dead, and that she's looking for the king. We then get treated to a back and forth of Snow and Jonathan talking about ideals, and I find it funny how Snow just starts walking ahead of him like she knows where she's going, but she clearly doesn't, and we get another song. Good God. Look, I like songs as much as the next person, but damn, it's only been 5 minutes. Also, is it just me, or does Princess Problems sound like Owl City? Just me? Alrighty then. Anyway, I kind of blacked out during the songs, so we end up with Snow meeting the other bandits, and they get ambushed by the royal guards immediately. There's like 0 breathers in this film, but Jonathan tells Snow to run off, and I find it so funny, no one noticed her neon yellow ass running off. Like, come on. But Snow White has the animals make a dummy of her to trick the guards, allowing the bandits to run off. Snow then finds them and says she said she would fight with them, and her and Jonathan have like the most cringe back and forth banter. Jonathan talks about how Snow's parents were brave and gave the people hope, and how everyone hates the queen but is scared, and it's like, yeah, no dip, we already knew that. Anyway, Jonathan gets shot, and I'll be the first to admit, I truly did not think we would see the CGI Hagrids again, but here we are. Doc obviously isn't a doctor, yet the bandits demand he help, and they all start arguing about it, and Snow yells that this is how the queen wants them to act, like, no, the queen could give 2 shits. Doc clearly said, I can't help, and everyone's yelling at him to do something. Like, what the fuck? That's like asking a McDonald's worker to perform brain surgery, and everyone getting mad they won't do it. Then some random person starts blaming the police that this is how they want them to act. Like, is Snow okay? Did she hit her head too hard? Like, damn. Anyway, Doc does do something, and he low-key thinks Jonathan is dead, but it turns out he's just fine. But the fact Doc thought he died is crazy, because again, he did not know what he was doing. Snow thanks him, and Doc says he'd do anything for Snow's special friend. Like, okay, old man, they certainly were standing next to each other. Anyway, everyone starts dancing. I am not kidding. We then get another nudge of this film's version of romance by having one of the bandits say Jonathan took an arrow for her, and we get another song. And yeah, sorry, but I skipped it. I'm low-key tired, and I just want to skip to the end now. But overall, the song is mediocre and crazy forced in terms of connection between the two. Like, yeah, obviously Disney's known for fast romances with little development, but since this movie tried to add some development in the beginning, it just falls flat now, since their attempt to show something was nothing. Anyway, Snow and Jonathan almost kiss, and the queen's guards are close. Everyone takes off, and Jonathan goes to distract the guards and says in 2 days they'll go and find her dad. Only for Jonathan to get captured immediately and taken to the queen. He's wearing Snow's locket, and Jonathan tells the queen she doesn't know what she's up against, and like, okay, sure, dude, because Snow is such a hardcore fighter. Anyway, the queen ages herself and goes to make the poison apple, and again, it's super lackluster. Like, this moment is supposed to be the best part of the film, but nope. Plus, they made Gal Gadot sing again, so yeah. Anyway, we cut back to Snow telling the dwarves she's leaving. As Snow packs to leave, the queen finds the house and tells Snow White Jonathan's been captured and gives her her necklace back. Snow then goes off to try to save him, but the evil queen reminds her about the danger and just outright says that Snow loves him. Like, again, okay. The evil queen then gives Snow the poison apple. At the same time, the animals get the dwarf's attention that Snow is in trouble, but it's too late. She eats it and passes out. Everyone cries, and the queen is back to being the fairest. We get the funeral scene, and like, it's fine. Kind of bummed there's less flowers than there should be, but the CGI is doing all the work, so yeah. We cut to Jonathan trying to escape, and he makes a speech that makes zero sense, but of course it was Snow White that got him all crazy about the bare minimum. But his speech somehow gets to the huntsman, and the huntsman helps him, and they break out. Jonathan makes it all the way to Snow and kisses her, which, hey, remember when people got butthurt about that? Yeah. Anyway, Snow wakes up because true love, I guess, and Jonathan and Snow make out. She then remembers her dad's dead, and everyone acts like that was never the case. Like, all the signs pointed to the fact that this man is dead. And then Snow starts singing. It's not a lot, it's just an extra to Waiting on a Wish, but Snow says it's time to fight the queen, and Dopey speaks, and like, y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but whoever the voice is for Dopey, oh my god, I blushed. Anyway, Snow goes back to the castle. It's super drawn out. We're like 10 minutes away from the film being over, so it's crazy to drag it out this much. Anyway, Snow just stands there at the entrance, and people look at her, and one girl from the beginning somehow recognizes her and just starts singing. Like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, she did nothing, said nothing, has not seen these people since she was like 9 or 10, nor has she done anything for them to act this way. Like, we were told not many people remember her, yet they rally behind her like it's nothing. They just do it. It makes no sense. But she sings her happy ass up to the castle gate, and the queen comes out, and Snow tells everyone the queen killed the king. No one is shocked. And the queen gives the same flower versus diamond speech, which I'm so tired, you guys. Like, when's the queen gonna die, for real? The queen then gives Snow a dagger to kill her with, and surprise, she doesn't do it. The queen then has a guard try and kill her. And like, again, I miss when the queen was more hands-on after the huntsman failed. Anyway, Snow reminds the guy what his life was before and gets everyone to change their ways. Which, like, okay, that sure was easy. It's all too easy. It's weirdly all too easy. I think it would have worked better if the queen casted a spell on the people, making them forget about all the good times when the king and queen were alive, instead of this. Anyway, the queen tries to kill Snow, but is stopped and told to leave. The queen then runs off into the castle to ask the mirror the question again, and wow, they really tried to use my beauty is only skin deep thing at the last second. But again, it doesn't work if Snow White has always been kind. Like, again, from day one, Snow should have been the mirror's answer, but nope. Anyway, the queen breaks the mirror and dies, which it's an okay death. Snow White is now queen, and we time jump to her and Jonathan getting married, or I assume they're getting married, as everyone is wearing white, but like, they're wearing white versions of the stock outfits that they already have on. So I guess Snow White is like the kindness cult leader now. I mean, she does have like this supernatural ability to make people think she's this beacon of never-ending niceness. Either way, movie over. Hooray! My final thoughts. I will say now, I did not like this movie. Shocker, I know. It was extremely bland and boring. Nothing added enhanced the film in any way, to the point I just sat there asking why. These so-called films are slaps to the face of animated cinema history, and it's crazy people still hold out hope that the next live action / remake will be any better than the last, when it's been shown time and time again, it does not. I'm baffled that Disney fans think these films are in any way a good thing, and even wanting more, to the point they're suggesting films that aren't even that old yet. And like, the OG film is right there. You can still watch it and enjoy it. There is no need for them to be live action. Obviously, I'm not saying there can never be more retellings of these classic stories. If other studios or even indie creators want to make their own thing or explore the story in a new way, that's 100% fine. It's just the fact Disney isn't even trying to do that. They pretty much went, hey, can I copy your homework? And were reminded to get some answers wrong to not 100% seem like they were copying. And it's just like, how can people still hold out hope that these films will be anything but cheap cash grabs that won't even hold up like the originals do? It's honestly sad to see how far Disney has fallen, and like what was said in Not Just a Goofy Movie, this is how the whim of a studio executive can change a movie in a moment if you don't fight back against a bad idea. And honestly, no hate, but I feel if the people at Disney can't do it, then we need to. Like, please quit giving money to these films. You can still watch Disney related things, hell, watch the classics over and over again, but this pandering nostalgia cash grab they call movies needs to stop. Also, I understand that a franchise needs to keep itself relevant, and rebooting an old series or movie is usually the way to go, but if you're not even going to try to keep the same level of creative oomph, so to speak, then what's the point? I mean, look at Winx Club. It just gets worse and worse each time they bring it back. And sure, it looks pretty, but that doesn't mean it's going to be any better. Sometimes franchises need to just let go of the past and move on, or at the very least give it more than 5 to 10 years, you know? I mean, the fans will always be around. There just won't be as many as vocal as they used to be. I mean, I've been in the Voltron fandom for years, and I love it deeply, but do I want another reboot? Fuck no. Anyway, I kind of went off, but yeah, just felt I should give my thoughts and opinions on the matter on Disney as of late. I mean, it's mostly the live actions. The animated side of Disney I have no issue with, because at least the animated stuff is doing something different. So yeah, Snow White, obviously not a great movie. Highly don't recommend watching it. I don't see a point in watching a film that's clearly a carbon copy of the original, and not even a good one at that. So like, please do not go see it. And if you do want to see it, pirate it. There are ways you can pirate it. I'm not going to explain it here, but join the pirate's life, okay? If you really want to watch something just to get the full picture of like how shitty or crappy or horrible a movie is, 100% pirate it, okay? Anyway though, hope this was somewhat fun for y'all. Was for me. I've been holding in so much pent up feelings about all this for a while, so it's nice to just scream a little. Anyway, next video will be Aisha. I'm so excited to show her. Y'all know it's gonna be crazy due to her being water-based, so yeah. Then the next video after that will be Leviathan, and hopefully by then the world building video will be complete. I have all the audio recorded, so I should be able to get it done. I thought I would have had it done on vacation. Turns out I was very wrong. Also, shout out to Pocket Grain 5'2" and 4'10" and Deary for all the supers while I was away. Onto the wall of teeth you go. Also, thank you to the new members. Sorry for the late shout out, but I see you. So welcome, Reens Draws, no relation to J Draws, and Axolotl Plush. Happy to have y'all here. Also, thank you to all the other members who stuck around. You have my whole heart. Also, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on my socials right here. And if possible, hit that join button or super to join the Board of Teeth. It really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!